All right, this time around we're going to be looking at the Battle of Mollwitz and Chotusitz. This is the latest from Clash of Arms games in their Battles of the Age of Reason series. Now, this is a series that is long-running and generally accepted is pretty complex. There are a fair bit of rules to it and a fair bit of chrome. And what is neat with each of the games is they generally present some really interesting historical battle, usually from the 18th century or late 17th century. So let's take a look here at the back of the box. Again, of course, Clash of Arms production, you know you are going to get these absolutely beautiful counters. And what makes this so unique is that both battles are actually one mappers and don't have incredibly high counter densities. So if you picked up the player's guide to the Battles of the Age of Reason, which was its own kind of introductory magazine / game, this may be a good next step. Or if you weren't able to pick that up, maybe this is a good entry into the system for you. So let's go ahead and pop the top. There we go. Okay, we've popped the top, and inside what we are looking at are a couple of dice, a couple of 10-sided dice here. This, again, beautiful, although, you know, this is like one of these glossy rule books. And we're looking at, in the battle rules, about 13 pages of special rules. And again, these are going to be split down by Chotusitz and Mollwitz battles. We'll take a look at the maps in a second. Oh, they're already falling out of the frame here. That's a good sign. I always like these really detailed order of battle sheets. So in both cases, we have the Austrians against the Prussians. And in fact, for Mollwitz, this is one of the first battles of Frederick the Great. In that battle, historically, he was able to fend off some charging Austrian cavalry and kind of take the day because of that. So again, we have these nice kind of formation change diagrams, which is kind of at the heart of this. And then we have some special results here. And again, your tables. So this is going to give you different types of disorder checks and morale check types, and give you some additional information for what you're going to encounter. Now let's take a look at these counters real quick. So there's some fatigue counters. But as you can see, the artwork on these is just stunning. I mean, even the detail on just something like the end turn is just beautiful. So let's take a look at the main counter sheet here. It's sort of falling out of the frames already, which is a good sign. That means those are going to come apart nice and easy. And the last time I did one of these, somebody said, well, slow down on the counters. I want to take a look and see what's there. I love these. I love the little like detail on the officer uniforms. I just think that's such like a clever mechanic and a clever way to represent that in terms of graphic design. Such a good job. The only thing that I will say is that though these are so colorful, sometimes this is where design crosses over to become, you know, not so utilitarian and can get complicated. On a beautiful map like these, you'll really start to see that it becomes difficult to tell things apart, and particularly if you're not paying attention or it's maybe the first time you've played it. So turn record track, pimping a little older battle. Here's the order of battle for the Prussians. Again, you have Mollwitz at the top, Chotusitz at the bottom. Our next map. Fire combat results. Of course, get one of these little postcard-sized games. These are kind of fun. I think people have played them and really had a good time with those. I have not messed around with it at all. Against the odds. See, here's something I'm not fond of, and I understand why, so you can run this through a copier, but this is just a standard sheet of letter paper. which I'm not super fond of. I mean, you can already kind of see through it. So when you go to scan these, sometimes if the scanner's not a real high quality, you'll see it'll bleed through. The back will bleed through the side that you're scanning because of the intensity of light. And we have our Battles from the Age of Reason rules of play. Now these do clock in pretty hefty, so you've got about 50 pages worth of rules. And you can see this primer is the thing I was talking about, and you can now apparently get that as a download only. But again, that's pretty useful. It does come with a great introduction to the series that walks you through all of the various rules components that go into the game. And a large chunk of this is lining up your formations, kind of status markers. So not terribly remarkable here, just black and white status markers. Again, what's nice here, I know you're thinking like, oh, they couldn't do anything for routed, they couldn't do anything for, ultimately when you have a battlefield that's as colorful as the battlefield that you're going to come across in any of the Battle of Age of Reason's games, that's something that, pretty easily brushed over. So let's look at the map for Chotusitz. And like all, well, I won't say all, but like many of the battles from this era, nice open fields, generally some light terrain, so you have this nice demarcation of the hill here. These kind of hand-drawn villages. So that's the village of Chotusitz, of course. And zoom back out a little bit. Kirkwitzer Lake. So there you have it. That's Chotusitz. Charlie Kibler designed maps here, so you're getting something special. One of the legends of kind of war game map design and cartography, of course. All right. Gruningen. I like that this is snow-covered battlefield, and they've done some really neat things on the map. So, for example, not in addition to the texture really enhancing the snow, I mean, that's kind of inadvertent. These are the same, high-quality, thick-weight, textured paper, kind of like parchment-y paper. But they've also done some neat things, like in the villages. Let's look at Mollwitz. Inside of the village, they have these great little snow-covered roofs with this light puffy snow on it. And then, of course, the trees have no foliage on them. So, again, overall, a great package. If you're looking to get into Battles of the Age of Reason, certainly take a look at the primer. It's download only. You may be able to find some copies of the printed version of it still. But this is 2 battles, 1 box. It's like 70 some bucks, and it's going to get you a heaping helping of great battles between Frederick the Great and Austria. So, I hope that this has enticed you into taking a further look at this game, or this game series. Really is pretty awesome. So, let's put these back out here so we can take one last look. Love the graphic design on these, of course. Like all Clash of Arms games, these are kind of like heirloom quality games with, kind of this timeless design and look and feel to all of the components, including the maps and counters and rule book and everything else. It's well played, well supported, well updated. Consim World has tons and tons of conversation about this series, and they will certainly be happy to answer questions that you might have as you go to learn it. And there are lots of great resources out there. So that's it. So take a look at the new Clash of Arms Battle of Mollwitz and Chotusitz.